Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to the course Organic Farming. Today we will learn what about the different type of organic nutrients, different type of organic source to provide the nutrient to the plants, whether we can generate on farm, otherwise we have to collect from the outside the farm. So, if we see in case of traditional fertilizer, that is just like when we are applying the urea, we have applied the DAP or potash, we are directly applying fertilizer to the soil, and a certain part of that fertilizer is taken by the plants as a nutrients. So, their physical, structural and biological role is very limited within the soil. But if we see when we apply some organic fertilizer, it may be as a compost, maybe a vermicompost, or maybe some another cow dung or cow urine. If you see, our main principle of organic fertilizer is not to feed the plant, but to feed the soil. So, we are making a soil environment so much conducive, so that not only the soil physical and chemical as well as the biological activities will be improved, but plant can get sufficient amount of nutrient over a period of time. So, it is applied to the soil the organic matters, and these also fed to the microorganisms. Lots of microorganisms are staying within the soil, maybe earthworms, protozoa, bacteria and fungus, and they also need food for survival. And this organic manure provide them the food, they multiply and they help the plants in many ways for different type of growth and metabolism activities of the plants. If we see, already previously in our forefathers times, we are doing organic farming from just 10,000 years back. But when the population has increased over the world in the last century, in the last 1950, 1960, there is a need to enormous production of food. So, in this term in the 1965-70, the era has come from the green, that is the total in case of in India, whenever we seen our food production was very low. So, there is a need of purchase food from the outside. So, there was also the green revolution started in 60 to 70s. So, we have produced enough food, and for producing that much of food there is too much need of nutrients, and most of the nutrients come from the high inputs, that is the fertilizers. So, over the years we have given, if you are applying only fertilizer with no giving of organic manure or the any cow dung or any excreta, so our soil fertility has been declined. So, again the term we are going for the organic. So, we have seen maybe the commercial fertilizer also in the case of everyday is enhancing. It is increasing, government is giving huge subsidy in the form of this urea and DAP, and if the government subsidy has been taken back, then it will be very tough for a farmers to purchase this highly costly fertilizer. In this condition, a farmers can produce or generate different type of organic manure in his farm, and that he can apply in the farm, which will be not only the cost effective, but also for the soil fertility build up for future generation. And if you see what are the different type of organic management when we are apply, what is the principle? There are four principles. First is the principle of health. If we see, it is sustaining. Sustaining means what is the health of the soil today, it should be for tomorrow. So, apart from sustaining it, not also improving, so that our future generation can get better return from the same soil. Also the health of the plants, health of the animals, and whole our environment as the planet. Similarly, the principle of ecology, it should give equal share to all the living organisms within our surrounding, maybe some soil bacteria, maybe some our rodents, maybe different type of whichever the animal we living in close proximity with agricultural system, different type of birds and other mammals, whatever we are dependent on agriculture, we should giving some good ecological system. Similarly, the principle of care, we should protect the health of the humans. So, for health of the human, mostly we are our health is determined what type of food we eat. If the food we are taking is not of good quality, so there may be a problem of our health hazards. So, this is the human health is important. not only the human health, we have to take immediately precaution also the health of our future generation and or other the living organisms who are directly or indirectly dependent on the agriculture. This is the soil physical structure. This is very much important of a soil. A soil physical structure means how the soil, how much the spore space is there. If we put water in the soil, how much water it can hold. If we there is some rainfall, how much water should enter into the soil. If a soil is too much compact, so most of the water whenever is come in the form of rain, it will go washed away by the runoff. So there will be less entry, but the infiltration rate is more, then that rainwater will enter the soil. Runoff and flooding chance will be less. Similarly, when the soil pore space is more and the water holding capacity of the soil, suppose we grow a corn and there is no rain for 10 or 15 days. If the soil physical structure in the terms of is water holding capacity is good, this soil can provide water for a 10 or 15 days to the plants. So if there is no rain also, the crop failure will not be done. But if the soil water holding capacity is very less, then there will be problem. So physical structure is very much important. There are lots of different physical and agriculture, how much the soil compaction is there, what are hydraulic conductivity, what is the bark density, what is the aggregate stability and others. Similarly, also soil biological activity, there are lots of macro and microorganisms present in the soil. It may be protozoa, bacteria, it may be fungi, it may be other things like different type of earthworms, small rodents, and lots of they have all are interconnected with each other. So similarly, in this picture we have seen earthworm. This earthworm is always called as the friends of the farmers, because they not only help to increase the porosity of the soil by making small tunnels within the field, but also they are providing lots of nutrient to the plants. They are also giving different type of hormones like auxins and gibberellins. And when some compost, suppose there is some residue is there or some cow dung undecomposed is there, so this earthworm helps in to digest them and they give them as a extract, and this is called vermicast or vermicompost, and this is very much helpful for plant growth. So we have to always maintain a good soil biological activity to promote better crop growth and the quality. There are different type of organic source. Generally we are too much emphasized previously on the different type of fertilizer only, and but in the for organic farming there are a lot of scope is there and lot of source of the organically managed nutrient is there. Some may be very bulky in nature, that is high amount is needed, just like your farmer manure, dung and our crop residue compost. But there is some also concentrated organic material is there where we have not to apply very high amount, just like oil cake, bone meal, blood meal. Similarly, there are some biofertilizer. Biofertilizer mean that is living organisms act as a fertilizer. So they help of nitrogen fixation, phosphorus solubilization. So there are different type of biofertilizer, nitrogen fixer, phosphorus solubilizer, potash solubilizer, and also there are that is AM, Ascorol Mikey and other living sources. The all are extremely proximity within a soil system. So soil is a holistic system. We have not to think soil in a isolation approach. We have taking the care of the whole farming system for betterment of our agriculture. And if we see nowadays different type of organic formulation has also come, and it has been due to our forefathers knowledge, different type of indigenous technical knowledge. So that has become, and we have differentiated, we have different type of technology has been arrived. Suppose that is Jivamrit, Amrit Pani, Panchagavya, that is from the cow product, Dasagavya, that is 10 types of cow product, and that all has very much good role in promotion of organic farming, because in organic farming you cannot promote the use of application of insecticide or pesticide. So you have to rely on this organic and natural sources. Other sources, green manure crops, different type of legume we should promote in the growing of organic farming. If you are growing only cereal, same crop, then it will not be good. But if you grow some legume crops like peas or beans, maybe chickpea, lentil, it will fix the nitrogen in the soil, and just indirectly it will help the soil fertility build up. There are also crop that is green gram and other crops they can use as a cover crop. So if there is too much rain and other things, soil will not be disturbed. So soil conservation is very much necessary for a better sustainable agricultural growth. And if you see, this is the different type of, in organic farming there is very much standard protocol is there given by our national standard of organic farming. Every material you cannot use, some are permitted, some are restricted. and some are totally, some are permitted with some precaution. And if we see the different, most of the cases whenever we go, that the poultry manure, palm manure, it is permitted, crop residue and green manure permitted, and rice straw and mulching other things, these all are permitted. Generally most of the case there is some restricted. Suppose we have restricted blood meal, meat meal, bone meal without preservatives, because we do not know, suppose some animal slaughter has been done or some animal blood meal has been prepared, we do not know in which way they have raised, whether they have fed too much food which is not growing organically. So, without taking precaution, we cannot directly use this blood meal or bone meal in our organic farm. Similarly, there is lots of seaweed. Nowadays, there are a lot of, one type of this is marine algae, and they are growing in very good quantity in just near the coastal lines of India and other countries. And they have a, we can extract the juice from this plant and can use as a organic stimulant. But you have to also follow the standard protocol. You cannot directly use them. You have to organic standard, if it is followed, if there is no chemical extraction method, you can use. But if we made by extraction with aqueous and other alkaline solution, that is restricted. So, in organic farming, when a particular farmers or some farmer producer company or entrepreneur want to do in his farm, you have to take care of all these things very carefully. Otherwise, there will be problem in the certification, and ultimately when he will not get the certification, he cannot sell his produce in organic market with better premium price. There are another also source of nutrient. If we see, there is some the factory farming process, guano. I think this is a probably maybe new term, some guano is the bird dropping. So, in somewhere in some particular area, lot of bird dropping is directly coming to the in the seaside. So, but we do not know the bird has come from where, what is their feeding habit. So, and there are lots of other things, restriction is there. We cannot use this guano directly as a fertilizer in case of organic farming. So, similarly, when a farmers want to do organic farming or otherwise he want to transfer his field is inorganic to organic, he have to take care of all these things, which are the different type of organic sources which I can use in my farm for organic and which is restricted and which I can use with the permission. So, always we have to keep in mind in organic farming, it is not just like a very traditional agriculture, what is available I can give in the soil, it is not just like that. For scientific organic farming, you have to strictly follow the guidelines, then only you will get the proper certification tag. This is the different type of mineral also used, because we cannot use fertilizer as such. But in case of there is some nutrient deficiency, because if you see in India, a large tract of area is acid soil, and in acidic soil phosphorus is too much deficient. So, what will be the source of phosphorus? If we want to apply suppose also FOM, farmer manure or cattle dung, the phosphorus is a little bit deficient, but there are some materials which we can use like lime. Lime is permitted under organic farming. So, lime help to enhance the soil pH and ultimately it will supply the phosphorus. Similarly, there is one materials that is called rock phosphate. Rock phosphate you can use because they are directly excavated from the soil. There is no chemical process, and rock phosphate is a very good content, about 18 to 20% of phosphorus, and it will gradually release so that plant can get. So, this type of minerals which is present in the soil and there is no need of any chemical extraction method, we can use directly that type of minerals in our organic farming to supply of different primary and secondary nutrients. So, what is organic waste? Organic waste, whatever the waste we are producing in a farm or outside of the farm, where we can use in the organic farming. Suppose in urban area, there are disposal of sewage sludge, it is a very huge problem, everything in soil, and lots of human our kitchen waste we are throwing to the dustbin, and from the dustbin is going to the very big pit outside of the city. And there is no proper mechanisms how can we use this good quality waste to make a compost. If there is a very good mechanism to produce a good quality compost, then this will solve our many problems, not only the problem of the bad odor coming from the city's outskirt, but also help in quality manure preparation which can sufficient supply nutrient for our plant growth. So, we have to see always in take care which type of organic waste we can apply in our organic farm and which we cannot use. Suppose if we say sewage sludge, that is used 23% for the land application. Similarly, there are lots of other wastes and we have to always follow these protocols, different type of organic manures, wastage in combination, making in a good quality compost that is odorless, that is very friable, then only can we use our organic farm. I mean, you see this is the compost of manure, and whatever the different type of manures in your freeing, if you see it is not for nutrient, we can give compost, we can give fertilizer. So, two source. This compost is used for the nutrient, and while we are also different type of bedding materials. Bedding materials, suppose a farmer is going to just raise some pig. Generally, sometime they cannot able to make a concrete floor for their pig and other things. So, otherwise in case of poultry, you have seen they are using sawdust, that is for the wooden dust particle, they are using as a bedding materials. These bedding materials over a period of time it's become decomposed, and you can use as a good quality organic manure in your farm. So, these are also supply too much nutrient and also the soil physical structure enhancement. Similarly, manure sometime you can use the biogas. There is cow dung, when the cow dung you are using with water and put in a very big compost pit, when with cover with cement tank and one pipe and other things, you can generate this biogas. This biogas can be used for your fuel purpose. You can cook with this helps. So, this organic and whatever the excreta is coming, what is the materials is coming, you can apply in your field. So, one way is giving energy, and other way you are also giving a good quality manure to your organic farm. Cattle manure. Cattle manure has a very prominent role in our Indian agriculture, because we have taken always a very high regard for our cattle in our Hindu mythology and our ancient civilization also. So, we are one of the largest cattle population in the world, and so whenever the cattle population is good, there is a chance of we are always getting very good quality manure. So, that is the cattle manure, and if you see there are different type of nitrogen, we are getting more than 3% nitrogen, 2% phosphorus and 1% potassium, along with also sulfur, magnesium and calcium on dry weight basis. So, also we can use for the different purposes. This cattle manure we can also use in mix with some straw, weed biomass, jungle biomass, kitchen waste to provide the different type of vermicomposting materials. So, there is cattle manure is one of our important, and if a farmer is want to go or organic farming, is always advisable you have to maintain some livestock. Otherwise, every time you cannot purchase this fertilizer, mainly organic fertilizer, which I want to discuss this, the vermicompost, maybe FOIM from the outside, and you do not know what is the quality. So, always in organic farming, this livestock, particularly cattle farming, is being promoted. And this is the suppose there is composting. Composting is very much needed cow manure. You cannot apply directly, only if you apply suppose 100 kilo of cattle dung or cow dung, you are applying in the field, your only manure quantity is 100. But suppose you have also too much rice straw, this rice straw is decomposed, you cannot use directly. You have lots of your kitchen waste, you have lots of another waste materials from your maize and other crops. So, if you mixing this cattle manure along with this another type of residue is there, you can compost them and you can enhance the quantity of your total organic manure, because in organic farming quantity is very much problem. Every time farmers is not getting sufficient amount of organic manure. So, you have to think how to innovate, how can I not only enhance the quality of my manure, how also we can enhance the quantity of the manure, so that a farmers can apply this type of manure sufficiently because plant need nutrients either in organic farming or organic farming, you have to provide the nutrients. So, there are different source of nutrients and you have to choose in which way I can enhance the increase. And if you see, this is the benefit. When there is you give you cattle manure, you directly put the cow dung in sunlight. So, most of the nitrogen is going volatilized. So, nitrogen is being lost. Suppose one thing what is very much important, cattle dung is there. In cattle FOI dung or FOM, whatever we have dying in our farm, lots of weeds and jungle seeds there, we simply cut it and put there. So, there are lots of weed seeds. If we directly apply that fertile manure in our field, so all the seeds of the weeds will come to your field and over the years your weed density will be increased. So, before that there is always need, we have to make the cow manure in a better decomposed cow manure, so that whatever the weed seed is there, it is decomposed, so that they will not germinate in our field and will not enhance the problem of the weed, because in organic farming you cannot apply any herbicide for the weed control. So, if the weed population is too much, it will you have to apply very much manual labor, and nowadays manual labor is very costly. So, for your managing an economically viable of organic farming system model, you have to take care of all these things very efficiently. Similarly, this also contains some beneficial bacteria. These bacteria also containing this cow manure, and when you apply into the soil, they also enhance the soil biological organisms. They help in the nitrogen fixation somewhere, maybe phosphorus solubilization. So, the soil beneficial capacity is enhanced, so that they supply nutrients in a sufficient manner and over a gradual period of time. So, this is the things also, they are also reducing less greenhouse gases, and also see where also there is cooking purpose. The cow manure, you know, that is different called in different name, and that is a very good that is a very good fuel for small and very poor farmers living in the rural households. They can also use a biopesticide, because lot this cow urine, then cow paste, they have anti-insecticidal properties. So, when we apply in field or spray, maybe insect directly not coming to eat the plant. So, this is one indirectly benefit of the cow manure we are getting. So, if this is the compost manufacturing, it is a substitute of the chemical fertilizer, because in organic farming we cannot use the inorganic fertilizer like urea, DAP, potash and other things. So, we have to always think how innovatively we can apply, and in this condition cow manure is very much important, and we have seen more than 219 bacterial strains from the cow dung has been identified, and every this bacterial strain has some specific purpose. That's maybe Bacillus, it's maybe Pseudomonas, Serratia and Acalygenous species. Cow urine also is very much important. Always we have seen different type of things, cow manure and cow urine. Although it is sometimes it is very difficult to collect, but if farmers have made some cement bedding and he has some gentle slope, if he can collect the cow urine in a probably in a pit and in a bucket, it is very much advocated to use. This has an excellent germicidal power, but it kill the germs, and also the antibiotic and antimicrobial activities. So, this is very much important, because in organic farming every time we cannot use any pesticide or insecticide, and from our forefathers, our indigenous technical knowledge, we know this cow urine has some medicinal value, some insecticidal value, some fungicidal value. If you see, it also contains some urea. That urea is not the urea which are producing in a fertilizer company. So, and also there are lots of hormone, enzymes and minerals. So, when we apply this cow urine, you can use as a biofertilizer. There is a very much organic farming, we are promoting to farmers use. One is vermi wash, that is whatever the liquid is coming from the vermicomposting tank, and also use can cow urine. But always we have to take some care, directly we are not applying the cow urine in field. We use minimum 10 to 15 days old cow urine, 10% along with the 10% of the vermi wash. So, these two if we can apply in our organic farm, it will not only enhance the growth and yield of the crop, but it also reduces the chances of insect and pest attack, and that is why cow urine has a tremendous potential value to use in organic farming. Similarly, poultry manure. Nowadays if you see, poultry industry is one of the largest and fastest growing. Everywhere you can go big farm, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, even also a small farmers every time try to keep some 20-30 backward poultry, because this is generating some extra income from the secondary agriculture. If there is some problem, if you have some patient in your home, you need some money, they always try to sell them. And this poultry manure also very much important, because they have a high quantity of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium as compared to the other manure. So, if we organically manage this manure very well, we can produce enough sufficient amount of organic manure for the organic farming areas or for the niche crops which I want to grow in the organic farming. So, but one thing I always have to available when you are practicing the poultry manure, we have to source what type of feeding materials you are giving to the poultry. Are you giving too much antibiotic? Are you giving too much of another medicines which is not permitted organic farming? Also, if you see, when you make, if directly you cannot apply the poultry manure in a field, because if you directly apply the poultry manure directly field, there may be chance of crop dying, because this temperature is very high. You cannot put your hand in the just pit. So, always you have to keep minimum 10 to 15 days this poultry manure in some shady place. So, after 10 to 15 days, most of the volatilization and other the gases will be out, temperature will be low, it will be decomposed properly, after that it is advocated to apply in the field. So, you can understand normally if you go to the poultry manure, the color may be some greyish or whitish, but when it is decomposed properly the color will be brown to black. Only then it is advisable to apply in the field, and it will generally you get bad odor in the poultry manure. Suppose you have everyone has passed through the poultry farm, there is very bad odor is coming, but when it will be decomposed properly the manure will be odorless. So, it will be black, brown to black in color, odorless, and that is very fine granules, just like our tea, whatever the tea leaves we are using for making tea, then it is ready to feed to use in your organic farm. Similarly, because we cannot only promote cattle, only cannot poultry, because some particular area has some. If you see our plain land, UP, Punjab, Haryana, cattle population is more. If you go to the northeastern side, people want more and more pig as a pork. So, this manure is also very much important in organic farming. It contains all the 13 essential elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, manganese, copper, zinc, and also boron, molybdenum and iron. So, you have to always take care of the soil manure, and also these whatever this nutrient content, it does not fix. The nutrient content always vary in which bedding materials you are using, whatever you are giving feed, because whatever you are giving food to the animals that come as a excreta. So, you have to take care of that what type of feeding you are used, and that is why organic manure, the nitrogen, phosphorus or potassium content always vary within the crops. So, and dilution in water is very much needed. So, proper composting is very much necessary for all these types of manure when we apply in the field. So, composting, I have already told different types of composting, but is a just book is definition. Composting is the natural process of decomposition of organic matter. And where is the decomposition? Decomposition is by the microorganisms. If you see, there are lots of microorganisms present in the soil. So, whenever you put some organic waste, it will used by the microorganisms, and ultimately after certain days they will provide a green or blackish, colorless, odorless, and also very fine grained materials. Only that after that the decomposition process, there release so much of nutrients, so much of enzymes that can be taken by the plant. So, nutrient value can be enhanced. You can apply some type of additional things. You can use some more less Ch to N ratio materials. You can use some type of organic waste which have more nitrogen. So, accordingly you can make different type of compost. And there are different type of composting methods. Some is Coimbatore method, some is Bangalore method, some is heap method. A organic farmer have to decide in his location and which type of organic waste he is getting from his farm. Accordingly, he have to select the composting method. So, compost made from also town refuses the night soil. Night soil is the human excreta. Most of the time this human excreta is not permitted to use in the organic farming, because we the human being generally we are not the omnivorous, we take different type of foods. So, always that is not restricted. And also when you use the compost, these compost materials should be very in good quality, and there are a lot of technologies available. A farmer can make compost in his own farm. He is a small plastic bed, he can make the compost. He can make the compost in a small heap, otherwise he can make a small pit or dug, which I will cover in next lecture how to different type of composting method. So, why compost is necessary? Because composting is necessary, there are lots of organic waste you can use, lignin, cellulose you cannot directly use. So, it has to be passed through the decomposition process, and after that you can use. The complex materials that should be converted into simple matter, so that it will release the nitrogen or the other nutrients in the field, so that plant can be taken. And also the conversion process that take away all the energy, all the heat, because I have already told there are lots of manure that is too much hot, you cannot apply directly in the field, otherwise it will hamper the germination of the crop and also the seedling establishment. So, always you have to take care of composting in a very nice and proper manner. So, conversion period is necessary. Sometime in case of it will take 2 months, somewhere it will make vermicompost 3 months, it may be help of the waste decomposer, it will help in just 20 to 25 days. So, this always varies with the time, with the materials, and so this composting has a very tremendous role in organic farming, and we have to take care of all the bedding materials, what is the composting method, and we have to use only very well decomposed organic manure in our farm. So, what is the different type of advantages of compost? There are many advantages, just I want to highlight one by one. One is the reduction, the volume reduction. If you see, suppose in a organic manure, when you are producing too much of rice straw or some excreta is there, it may be very bulky in manure. But when there is a proper composting, it will maybe 1 ton, it will be come to just 200 or 300 rupees kilo. So, it is very easily for a farmers to apply and also reduce the transportation cost. It also kill the pathogen, weed seeds and other seeds which is not wanted, that I have already discussed. This composting method, not only the organic waste is being decomposed, but also decompose the harmful seeds as well as the weed seeds, and also is the manure handling, because whenever there is any problem, because this everything have to done by the manual labor in farm or in a remote place, everywhere the instrument is not available or the farm truck is not available. So, if it is too much order in bad order and this is bulky, it is very tough to apply in the field. But if the organic manure is odorless and less bulky, order is less in size, it will be very easy for a normal casual labor to apply in the field. Similarly, it would also give some additional revenues. If you produce good quality compost as well as the vermicompost, in nowadays in city there is a very good market. Everywhere just a people want to make some flower plots or maybe some roof gardening, and for that composting and vermicompost is a very good demand, more than 20-30 rupees a kilo. So, there are different type of organic manure I have already described in the previous time. So, and what is the concentration of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium? It is not fixed, it just we have done some research experience and on that basis we have done. It can be vary in different type of cattle to cattle, it may be indigenous cattle or maybe hybrid or crossbred, and whatever the feeding materials you are provide. So, there is this nutrient it vary, but just I give a conclusion so that you can farmers can get or any just a student can get how much nitrogen we get from the cattle dung and other things. By dry wood basis, now the nitrogen, phosphorus, a cattle dung is 0.4% nitrogen, 0.2% phosphorus and 0.17% potassium. So, it is very much necessary, suppose he is want to grow a crop. The crop need 50 kilo of nitrogen. So, for the 50 kilo of nitrogen, how much cattle dung you have to provide in the field? If he is only, otherwise he or she have only poultry manure, then how much poultry manure he need provide in the field, that is very much needed. By calculating the nutrient concentration from this chart, he can use which amount I needed in the field, otherwise there will not be deficiency for the plant, otherwise it is not also very much costly, you can apply too much high amount. So, there is always quantification of the manure is needed and that will be calculated on the basis of the different nutrients present in this compost. Different type of, we have just generally I have discussed about, this is all type of solid organic manures. There is also different type of organic manures that is in liquid in nature, and there are lots of processes in how we can produce different type of liquid organic manures, what is their advantage and how to use. Similarly, there are some different type of organic manure, we can use the cow dung, this is, we can also use the cow urine or gomutro, and this is milk, this is ghee and curd. These three we use to make, one is panchagavya. This panchagavya is not only help to enhance the growth of the crop, but also it has some insect repellent activities, so that is reducing the insect and pathogen infestation. So, by two ways this type of liquid manure is help our crop growth, and this is very much important in the organic farming, where our choice of insecticide and pesticide growing applying inorganically is too much restricted. So, we have to think different type of innovative ideas how to make your farm more profitable and more sustainable. If you see, different types of organic liquid manure has been in process, some is indigenous technical knowledge and some has been done over the research, and whatever the ITK is applying and other things, our natural organic products, we have done the quantification, what is the science behind it. So, we have seen different type of organic liquid manure is available, it may be vermi-wash, panchagavya, jivamrit, sasyagavya, sanjivak, bijamruta, amrit pani, kunapajala and also the seaweed extract. So, this type of different type of organic manures, because in every location for every crop probably all are not suitable. In some location some type of liquid organic manure probably in case of maybe in sea shape, that can be people apply who are growing their farm along the coastline. So, there this variation is existed, and a farmer or any entrepreneur have to carefully choose which type of liquid organic manure I want to apply in my field. Similarly, there are different type of preparation. How we prepare the organic manure? There is a very much standard protocol, and if we go for the preparation of this organic manure in this way, then we will get the exact benefit which I want. Otherwise, if we are not following proper guidelines, we will not get the benefits whatever we are wanted for. So, suppose Panchagavya, there are different type of things in Panchagavya. Pancha means 5 and Gavya matlab coming from the cow. So, what is the 5 things we are coming? One is the cow dung, cow ghee, cow urine, and also cow milk and cow cud. These 5 things we are getting from the cow. Apart from what we need, we also need jaggery, we need water, and we need banana. So, this is the tender procedure how to mix with different type of these cow products along with the water, jaggery and banana, we will produce this Panchagavya. After producing this Panchagavya, this liquid, we can store in a bottle for particular certain times, and we can apply in our crop or in the soil whenever is the necessary. And that are also enhancing the soil microorganisms. For different type of microorganisms existed, maybe nitrogen fixation or for the phosphorus solubilizing, that also help indirectly. Similarly, you can also produce the Jivamrit, that is cow dung along with cow urine, pulse grain flour and live frost soil, water and other things. Similarly, you can also go to the Bijamrit, you can also apply the Sanjivani. So, these are different type of liquid organic manure. This preparation we can make a farmers in his home. It is very easy to make. A farmers or any entrepreneur had not purchased this liquid organic from the market. All the things is available in his farm, and it is very easy to prepare, for store it and use it, so that its total cost will be less. Unless the cost will be less, his farming will not be profitable. So, we have to promote. We are giving organic manure, we are giving composting, vermicomposting. Apart from this, if we are also promoting this type of some supplemental organic liquid manure, then their chances of the quality as well as the yield under organic farming will be enhanced. Similarly, different other things like Kunapajala. Also, we have to work out different scientific research has been done in India under the network project of organic farming, especially Narendrapur and other institutes, and they have worked out what is the science behind this Kunapajala, and they have identified different type of beneficial bacteria which is present in the Kunapajala. When we make with Kunapajala with fish waste and other things, we can grow. Similarly, vermi wash, whatever the excreta is coming from the vermicompost, and when this liquid water is coming and passing through the earthworm's body, there is some enzyme also secreted, and when we are applying with this vermiwash along with the cow urine, generally we apply 10% cow urine 10 to 15 days old and 10% of this vermiwash. This is very much beneficial for the growth of organic farming, and also they reduce the insect pest attack, because insect does not like the odor of these things. So, they generally repel, they stay away from the field. So, and that is very much necessary for organic farming, which we cannot apply any insecticide. If you see, this is the different type of organic manures and what is their composition. So, if we see different type of, most of the you see our nitrogen is very much important for plant growth, because nitrogen is growing the activity for the plant cell division and for cell enlargement. Nitrogen is potassium is needed for the strengthening of the plant for cell wall turgidity. Similarly, we also need copper, manganese. So, if we see this Panchagavya Bijamrit, Panchagavya has a very good quality of nitrogen, more than 1000 ppm. Apart from that, also Jivamrit is also about 707 ppm of nitrogen. So, when you apply these things, that also give nitrogen, and which is very much necessary for a proper plant growth. Similarly, if we also see, there is the iron. Iron is containing in all the Panchagavya, Bijamrit and Jivamrit in a very high quantities, more than just 15 to 20 ppm. So, this also provide good quality micronutrient to our plant growth. Similarly, what is important things is the bacteria. This most of the things they have a very good beneficial bacteria. If you see the count, it is in case of Jivamrit 19.7 into 10 to the power 5, it just means it is more than 1.9 lakhs. Similarly, they have a very good quality fungi actinomycetes and nitrogen fixer. Nitrogen fixer, these are the nitrogen fixation materials where these are organisms fix nitrogen in the soil and enhance the soil fertility so that plant can utilize the nitrogen. Also they have some PSB, that is phosphorus solubilizing bacteria. So all these liquid organic manure are being advocated to use in the organic farming for a better sustainable growth. Now I coming to the vermicompost. This term is two terms, vermi and the compost. When any compost we are making with the help of earthworm, that is called vermicompost. We are making composting, we are using the cow dung, we are using different type of organic residue, rice straw, maize straw, pulse straw, kitchen waste. If we apply these things layer by layer, one layer may be cow dung, one layer whatever the farm waste is there, and we apply some type of earthworms. There is different types of earthworm, some are heavy feeder, some are slow feeder, some are indigenous, some are from the outside like Eisenia foetida, Eudrilus eugeni. So when these earthworm in the process they eat all the organic waste and they take it out as a excreta. But in this process the quality of the vermicompost or this manure has been enhanced. They have also had different type of hormones and plant growth regulators, because in organic farming we cannot apply artificial plant growth regulators, but this has some type of plant growth regulators and hormones like auxin and gibberellins which are promotes the plant growth. And if you see, suppose in case of one organic manure we are just FYM, we have only 0.5% nitrogen, but if you see in case of vermicompost the nitrogen has enhanced 3 to 4 times, that is 1.5 to 2%. Similarly, if a farmers or a entrepreneurs have only 500 kilo of cow dung, so the amount is very much limited and nitrogen percentage is only 0.5%. So, but you have a lots of residue, rice straw, maybe vegetable waste after cauliflower eating and other things, there is lots of waste. Similarly, there are lots of jungle leaves, weed biomass. If we use 500 kilo of dry weight of this cow dung along with this 500 kilo of dry of the different wastes, his total materials with 500 kilo plus 500 kilo is 1000 kilo. So not only the quantity of the compost is increased, but also the quality of the increase, because in organic I have tell only FYM only 0.5%, but in case of vermicompost is nitrogen percent. So more quality of the compost has been generated and he has to apply less amount for a particular crop growth. They have also different type of enzymes like urease and phosphosynacerase, phosphodiesterase and other things. So this has the very high porosity, aeration capacity. So when we apply this vermicompost in the soil, that also enhance the soil physical characteristics and physical structure. And also when we apply the vermicompost, there are lots of eggs and small earthworm we are also applying in the soil. So they also help the soil by providing the soil, make them more porous, and the water holding capacity and water infiltration rate others had been enhanced. Similarly is the biogas slurry. We have heard about that biogas. We can just suppose this is a small compost pit, this is the some type of chamber we measure here, and everywhere we can, there is a small inlet where we can make everything, we can apply the cow dung and we apply also the water. After every day we are working in this compost pad, and there is a decomposition process within this, and what is the one is the output product. So whatever the different type of cow dung and other things we are applying, that is coming after decompose in this way. So this is whenever we apply this cow dung and we taking the out in the decomposed product, the quality is enhanced. Apart from quality, we can also use as a biogas and we can use for the fuel or cooking and other purpose. So this biogas slurry, apart from the giving energy to a small household, this quality of the manure is also enhanced. So if we see, and this is very much necessary of different type of things, climate change, because a small farmer in very area they are burning the woods and lots of gases has been emitted, but in case of biogas slurry we can produce his own gas just like LPG and other things. And if you see the concentration of nitrogen and other thing also apply, you can also apply, this is a foliar fertilizer. Similarly, one thing is azolla. If you see in the village type or any some small pond side in the just if you go anywhere, you will get this small greenish structure is there on the pond. So it is very good thing one to know. This is a very aquatic free floating fern and it has a very good quality protein. So nowadays it is also used as an unconventional feed for many species, maybe ruminant, maybe cattle, maybe poultry, pig and fish. It is good feed. Farmers are producing these things in their small pan or water tank, and after that they can use. Besides this, if you see this is a small farmer in a small water tank of plastic body in a certain parts of Meghalaya, he is just growing the azolla. He is feeding to his animal, and sometimes this azolla can be also applied to his rice field. Within applying of the rice field, it will multiply very rapidly and it can cover the field. It also provides calcium, magnesium, potassium and vitamin A and vitamin 2 too. There are different type of species. Some is azolla pinnata, and other things is multiplication rate is very high. It is multiply within 7 to 10 days. So that is very much necessary to produce enough amount of animal feed and also for giving in the rice field. These you can also dry and you can also store. In some part of time when there is animal feed is less or grass is less in the outside, you can use as your animal feed. And this is the very nice thing is the blue green algae, BGA. And whatever the things, there are different types of nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria is there, nostoc, anabina and clathorix. And one important things which I previously told, that is the azolla. This BGA, this is very blue green algae, they live, this is suppose blue green, this is azolla, and in this the under part this BGA is staying. So this BGA both are synergistic to each other. This azolla provides shade and shelter to the BGA, and BGA has the capacity to fix atmospheric nitrogen, and this nitrogen they are also provide to the azolla. So both they are staying together, and this association is an example of symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Azolla provides food and shelter, while BGA is give the nitrogen back to the azolla. And these species, by when we are applying in a particular field, in our rice field particularly, the soil nitrogen fixation is enhanced and crop with growth perform. And also they make the porous soil and adhesive substances, and they also have excretion of different type of phytohormones like auxins and gibberellins. These also the different type of blue green species is available. This is all are cyanobacteria. They have used not only in the agriculture as a nitrogen fixation or as the biofertilizer, they have also the soil fertility enhancement, but also they help in the environment, that have carbon dioxide sequestration, bioremediation. And this use of the BGA has been started from the long back. From the USA, even from the 1970s, we are using this type of BGA, and this is a very much potential to use. Then also they has a use as a dietary protein for B vitamins and iron. So this is BGA also use some medicinal property, like use the treat gum disease and use as a food or food coloring activity, and these are all natural. So this have no your health hazard or any side effect. So we have to promote to this type of things, either azolla in combination with BGA, we should promote under organic farming. There is also different type of green manure. So green, it is understand green and one is manure. So there are two type of things is there. One is green manure and one is green leaf manure. So this simple definition is the green manure is that when you growing some crops very green with the purpose of nitrogen fixation in the soil or producing enough quality of biomass before growing the main crop. Suppose you are growing maize in the month of April, but if February, March our field is vacant. So if we use some crops, and after attaining a stage of 30, 40 or 50 days, we are simply chopping the field and we mix in the soil. So this will enhance the soil fertility and also the soil physical structure. Different crops is there, sunham, dhancha, then also cluster bean, Sesbania rostrata. This is a different type of crops we can grow in field before growing the main crop. Similarly, green leaf manure, where we are not growing these crops within the field, but near about the field there is burned area, there may be some uncultivated land, there may be some jungle area, where this type of plant is there, maybe Sesbania grandiflora, this is Glyricidia and Delonix, Aja directa India. We can simply cut the leaves or twigs from this, we collect the leaves and we are coming to the field and mixing in the soil. So by this way, these two things, one is green manure, when we are growing within the field and mixing and chopping in the soil, and second is the green leaf manure. Where we are doing, we are simply cutting from the outside of the farm, maybe from barn and jungle, taking the leaves and mixing in the soil. This is called GLM and GM. If you see, this is the uncultivable land. There are lots of jungle biomass is there. If we simply cut these different types of leaves, these leaves, we have a good nitrogen fixation or nitrogen content, we can apply in the seed, is called green leaf manure. Similarly, if you see, we have grown groundnut, this band is out unutilized, but in this brand we have grown some crops. This is called tephrosia, and this tephrosia have more than 3% nitrogen. So in the, when there is no crop or before plowing of the field, we can cut these leaves and mix in the soil. Similarly, in case of cultivable land, we can grow soybean one line and maize. So after some time, we can cut the leaves of the soybean because growth is excess. So this and this topping, we are mixing within the soil. So it enhances the soil fertility. These you can tell is a green manure. And also you are different type of weeds like ambrosia. We are applying, taking from the field and also applied within the maize lines. So it not only enhance the soil physical structure, consume moisture, but it also applies sufficient nutrient to grow. We have also evaluated what is the different type of organic the biomasses we are using, the composting, vermicomposting, green manure. So we have done, and we have the different type of species we have grown, Cajanus cajan, Cajanus tetragonia, and if you see, they have a very good quality of nitrogen, more than 3.2%. Similarly, phosphorus content is 0.67% and potassium is 1.3%. So it is not necessary for growing crop everywhere we have to apply in the inorganic fertilizers like urea and DAP. There are a lot of sources available within our nature. There is a great proverb that nature provides for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. So if we can simultaneously use in a holistic approach by all these things, there is enough chance to promote organic farming in a greater area for particular in niche crops, and also in different location specific organic farming we can promote it. Also there are too much tree biomass is there, just like a Parksia roxburghi, Elnas nepalensis, and if you see, all have a very good concentration of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. The only thing is that we have to know which plant we can use in organic farming, how to use, when to use, and how to mix in the soil, and this will help in our soil physical structure, soil biological structure, and also supply all the essential nutrients for plant growth. If you see the different type of nutrient composition, we have different type of green manure crops, maybe dhancha, maybe moong bean, black gram. You see the nitrogen percentage of the dhancha is 2.5%. So this is a very good amount. This matlab, if you apply 100 kilo of dhancha, you can supply 2.5 kilo. So similarly, suppose you need 100 kilo of nitrogen, you have to decide how much I can apply through different type of green manure crops, how much nitrogen I can apply through the compost, how much apply of nitrogen I can give to the vermicompost, and how much nitrogen I can apply for the biofertilizer. So scientific amalgamation of these different type of organic manure has to be promoted in organic farming for a better crop growth. There are different type of organic manure crops, rice straw also we have worked out what is the nitrogen percentage, maize stover, rice hull, coconut husks, banana stem, and acacia species. This is the oil cakes. Nowadays what I have told, I have mainly discussed on the different type of bulky organic manure which are very high amount we have to apply, 5 ton, 10 ton, 6 ton, 500 kilo. But there are also byproduct which have a very high amount of nitrogen, but we have not to apply it in very high quantity. This is oil cakes. Every one we are taking, suppose mustard oil, sesame oil or groundnut oil, but whenever we crushing the seed, we are getting only the oil, and whatever the use of this leftover product, that is called the oil cake. So this is not only have very good value for the livestock growth or cattle or other things, they have also very good value in nitrogen supply and other nutrient supply in the soil. So they have two ways, first using for the livestock feed and second is the fertilizer. Different, and also apart from fertilizer, they have also some insecticidal properties, like if they use of the neem cake. If you produce neem cake from the neem seed, this neem cake has a insecticidal property, so that we can use in the organic farming instead of very inorganic insecticide and pesticide. And this is the different type of oil cakes. Some oil cakes are non-edible because you cannot eat that oil, just like castor cake, also the cotton seed cake, karanji cake, you cannot use. So, and nitrogen percentage is 4.3% nitrogen, 1.8% phosphorus, very high amount of nitrogen is there. Similarly, there are lots of edible oil cakes, which oil we are using our food, like coconut cake, groundnut cake, linseed cake, rapeseed, sesame and other things. And if you see the nitrogen content, more than 7.9% in case of sunflower, sesame is 6.2. So, these are very concentrated form of organic source of nutrients. Every time it is not we have to apply very bulky manure, there is also source, but I have to think how can we promote this growth. So, when we are go for organic farming, a certain part of our farm we should grow this type of oil seeds crop in our farm, so that we can also use the oil, and whatever the oil cake is produced after getting the oil we can apply in our field. Now, as coming to the biofertilizer, this is a very much important nowadays, because every time we are also giving too much, giving the organic manure amount quantity is very much needed. But biofertilizer is two term, bio matlab living organisms. When the living organisms act using as a fertilizer, it is called biofertilizer. So, there are microorganisms within the system. If you grow power previously, most of the jungle biomass, if you go, very luxuriant trees and other things, and these jungles, whatever the rainforest is there, we are not applying any fertilizer, we are not applying in manure, then the how the trees is so luxurious growth, because there are lots of biofertilizers plant. There is lots of nitrogen fixation, some microorganism, bacteria maybe in other way, you apply in the soil, they form some nodules maybe in case of rhizomia, otherwise they grow in association with the roots. This also help in the soil aggregation, so that the nutrient can be stored within the soil, water holding capacity of the soil enhanced, and also they are giving different type of organisms, they are release different type of nutrients. They have also used for nitrogen, there also increases different type of fungal pathogens is there, different type of bacteria is working there. So, these biofertilizer we are also should be promoted. Different type of biofertilizer is there. For biofertilizer, I have simply different type of target crop. Suppose rhizobium. Rhizobium is a nitrogen fixation. So, rhizobium is which crop is always associated with the leguminous crop. If you chickpea, lentil, pea and different type of beans, if you uproot the plant, you can see there is a small. Similarly, we have also the azotobacter, we have azospirillum, we have also phosphorus soluble organism, we have the abscoscular mycorrhiza. This is also very much necessary for nursery raised and orchard crops. And if you see different type of classification is there, some nitrogen fixation is free living azotobacter, some are symbiotic, some are associative, and also different types of species of PSB or phosphorus soluble bacteria is Bacillus, Pseudomonas, and for the P mobilizing is the Glomus, and plain growth promolator is the Pseudomonas, Pseudomonas fluorescens. So, we have to, and they also, if you see the nitrogen mobilite, they can give 25 to 30 kilo nitrogen in rhizobium, azotobacter 20 to 5 kilo, and mycorrhiza can give 20 to 25 kilo phosphorus. So, that is one thing. When we differently use different type of organic sources, biofertilizer, compost, manure, cow dung, oil cake, and all the scientific organic manure if I using in a very scientific manner, we can promote the organic farming, we can enhance the yield, quality of the produce, and our system will be sustainable for our future generation. Thank you.